Hello, dear viewers. Thank you for joining me. Today, I just want to thank everyone around the globe who is concerned with what's going on in the U.S. and supportive and protesting in solidarity, addressing any kind of racial injustices in your own countries. I have been so touched when I've been looking at these protests across the globe, and also very encouraged because I keep saying it. You know, we as citizens of each nation, every nation, we have a lot more in common than not. And I do keep thinking that with the advent of the internet, social media, we're all understanding each other a lot better, and we're all finding our voices in common a lot more. So I just think this is a very hopeful thing. And frequently, I think people are understanding that just because the leadership of a country makes a decision doesn't mean the people of that country are behind it. You know, I think people are gaining a better understanding of that. So, a lot of times I'm seeing a split kind of reading on other countries. This is the leadership, and this is what the people are wanting. But I thank you all. I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. And all of us do. All of us Americans do. I want to ask about the protests worldwide. What kind of changes do they bring about? Let's just ask that. Oh, gosh. Whoa. They open the door, the Queen of Swords, for a lot more people to come forward with their stories of injustice. A lot more interest in those news stories, a lot more planning too, like really logical kinds of discussions and planful discussions about what to do about this. So that's huge. That is huge, because really our shared ideas are what's powerful, much more powerful than any centralized government. Yes, much more powerful. And then we have the magician. It helps to bring heavenly on earth. It helps to the diagonal. As it is above, so it shall be below. It helps us to do that. It helps us to assemble what we need, like this. The Fool's Pack is opened on the table by the magician to say, you've got everything you need in here. And the Four of Coins. Okay, but yet. Okay, so we have two very positive cards. And then we've got the Four of Coins, which sometimes is greed. It's a fearful greed. It's sort of like a miserliness in some cases. Sometimes it's a very positive card, like you're hanging on to your security. But the vibe I got from it today is there will be people very concerned about hanging on to the power that they have and really making efforts to do that. So in other words, we've got a beginning. We've got a beginning of discussion, smart discussion, planning, news stories becoming more widely circulated about injustices, racial injustices. And you know it's going to be class injustices as well. So here we go. It's a good start. It's a good start. What else? How long do they go on, Spirit? And do they keep going? Well, I feel like there's one. Oh, no. Queen of Cups. Things don't get out of hand. That's what I'm hearing. Things are not getting out of hand. They do continue on a worldwide basis. We have the world. And we have the Four of Swords. Unfortunately, some are met with violence then. And there will be some protests in nations where, you know, we had George Floyd. We lost him. And there have been protesters in our nation hit with rubber bullets, and their heads have been cracked, and it's been crazy. But there will also be in other nations, some nations where the police might even get more forceful than that with their citizens. We will have some troubles, but they keep going, and their success. That world card meant success. It meant this is a good thing. It meant there are successes all along the way. That's what it meant. So what else about that spirit? And you never know which success turns out to be huge, right? It can be a law is changed. It can be a new narrative is part of the global language and discussion now. There can be these things that turn into big things. The tower, yeah, it is during the time of pandemic, right? So we have the tower. But, the feeling I'm getting from this card, you guys, is that's okay. This is one of the ways in which the tower has allowed for shifts that have needed to happen. I've always said, we've always seen that with the readings about the pandemic, is that the tower is bringing in new opportunities for change that would otherwise be hard to have. So, the tower. Also more concern about the citizenry in every nation. And then we have the 9 of coins sitting pretty and the 10 of swords. All right. Well, you know what I get from here? I get more help from those who are sitting pretty to those who do see their livelihoods, or they see devastation as a result of the pandemic. So I also see these worldwide protests helping people to become more aware of suffering in different parts of the world, different parts of their nations, and reaching out more. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Okay. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is the beginning. Okay, Spirit. Well, let me ask if these protests morph into different causes in different nations. Although the cause of the racial injustices, it's not just the US. The UK is identifying that. Australia, the Aborigines, they have had a much higher rates of incarceration than their white counterparts. And it's just, why, So this is happening in many other nations and other nations besides those too. So that is a great thing. I just want to ask, how do these protests morph over time? We have the King of Coins. Yeah, classism. Classism too becomes an issue. The very wealthy. So we do have those undercurrents still going on. Like, what is happening? Why? And in the US here too. The CARES Package 1. And it looks like, well, there have been a few different iterations. The next one that gives a lot of money will again go primarily to the extremely wealthy again. So, big companies bailed out right away. Stock market bailed out right away. So, yeah, we still have that in the US. And that's going to become more and more a focus of this. The 9 of Wands. Okay, so also there are going to be some very painful things to look at worldwide. Trauma. Times when governments have traumatized its citizenry. We're going to be looking at that. And yes, reforms for criminal justice system. Yes, because that's right with reforms for the police. Yeah, definitely. So many people imprisoned for no adequate reason. There could have been other interventions that would have made a lot more sense and held people accountable, but yet also offered a way to improve their lives. So that's really interesting. We're going to see a lot of that. We're going to hear a lot of stories about people incarcerated unfairly. They're going to oh my gosh, you guys. I just realized it. They're going to have a voice. So many of those who have been incarcerated for crimes they did indeed commit, it's like they have no voice after that. Nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to say. It's like, well, you did that. Oh, well, tough. But that attitude is really going to wash away. I just see it washing away. Like I see it like a wave washing back off the sand. I see it washing away this sense that that's them. That's them in jail. This is me. That's them in prison. This is me. This is my family. We're not the same. That's going to wash away. Because, we are all the same. Every human being, they tend to do what makes the most sense for them with their history, with their opportunities at that time. And if I've learned anything, it's not to judge, because even a lot of the folks in Washington, as upset as I get with them, I'm thinking, if they're all doing the same thing, they're all passing laws in favor of really huge business and fortunes, there must be a reason they're doing this. We have to see, why does it make sense for them to do that? Why, what can we change so that they can make different choices, or we can have different people in those positions making different choices? And I think the us, them, the we, they is just washing away. And so folks who are in prison, folks who are guilty of crimes, are going to be able to still have a voice. That's changing. That's changing. So that is so amazing. That needed to change. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I just wanted to read on what's coming out of these protests. And I did want to thank everybody who is taking part in peaceful protests. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.